I'm your host, Rafael Moran, and today we're doing a deep dive on everything Masters of the Universe. We have a special guest. Another guest host is coming on today, and he is also a geeky dad. His name is Rob Foy, and he is a Masters of the Universe superfan, and he's bringing his son Luke along with the ride. And the Multiverse kids are going to do a review of Masters of the Universe Revelation. So, if you were born in the 80s, prepare to relive your childhood.
I am Adam, Prince of Eternia and defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, "By the power of Grayskull!" Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret. Our friends, the Sorceress, Man-at-Arms, and Orko. Together we defend Castle Grayskull from the evil forces of Skeletor.
I'm here with my co-stars,
Ariana, Rayad, and we're the Multiverse Kids.
Yes, we just finished watching Masters of the Universe Revelation. And we are going to give you a little bit of a Revelation episode today. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of spoilers, okay? So
A lot. And it's going to be so different. Really? Super crazy. So you
Yeah. So
it should be weird.
calm yourselves. Everybody has to talk at one at a time. Okay?
Weird. Okay.
So, I didn't want to do a review for the first part because it was like part 1 of a 2-part story. It's like, reading a book halfway and not reading to the end. So now we have the full story. We can actually give a better review of the whole show now that both parts are out. And that's the problem where a lot of people were giving it bad reviews because, they thought, it ended badly. So they didn't think that, it's going to have a better ending in the second part.
Yeah, so I think that I thought, they had that end credit scene where,
Yeah, there was an end credit scene, but we'll get to that. So first off, let's talk about part 1, the first 5 episodes, okay? In the first 5 episodes, and actually in the first episode, He-Man is killed, right?
Yeah, it gives, a recap,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he always says it's his last battle.
Yeah, Skeletor said, "Let this be our final battle."
And it was.
At least, I doubt that's...
Or that's what they thought.
I doubt that's his final battle, but he said it at least 3 or maybe 2 or 3 times.
Every time. More than once.
More than once at least within the whole series. But, that's a little that's a little thing for the old-time fans because that's what he says in the movie. That's why he keeps saying that. In fact, the show has a lot of winks and Easter eggs to the old movie as well, especially some of the villains that show up. But in the first part, He-Man is killed, and Skeletor is killed.
And Tila's bad. No,
Yeah, Tila's mad because she finds out,
that
He-Man.
Adam's He-Man.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he kept it secret, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so she was, mad that he kept the secret from her. Ugh.
Yeah, so that whole first 5 episodes is her and is dealing with her, dealing with Adam being gone, and then
That
you
they
get
have
to
save
see
him.
and
Yeah,
then you
and,
get to
like,
see
yeah.
Man at Arms also. They focus on Man at Arms.
And she has to team up with Evelyn.
Yep.
And Vanadons is going to retire.
Yeah, he retired.
Yeah, in the first episode, he was going to retire, so Tila would become the new Man at Arms. But then she got so mad that she stormed off, and she wasn't the Man at Arms.
See, a lot of people online got mad at the first part because everybody loves He-Man, right? And they got mad because, oh no, they killed off He-Man, and they thought the show was gonna, like, Tila took over the show because they didn't want Tila to be the star of the show. But
So rude.
I
He's
I thought it made people miss He-Man more when he died because you saw how his presence affected everybody.
Yeah, like everyone started using technology and like
the whole place went to hell. Yeah.
it's like now.
Yeah.
They use technology.
So,
Except it's like more bad.
of course,
More technology. It's like the future kind
yeah,
of.
it's a kind of weird futuristic
It's like
place.
the present. It's like supposed to be the past, but then it looks like the future.
Yes, that's how that
It's all
planet
mixed up.
that's how that planet Eternia is. It's a mix of fantasy, magic, and technology. Yeah. Well, it's a different planet, so it's not gonna be like our planet. Anyhow, within that 5th episode, Adam / He-Man is back alive.
But he dies again.
Well,
Well, he almost dies.
it ends at a cliffhanger with Skeletor stabbing him, looking like he's dead. And then Skeletor has the sword.
And he's like, Skelegod! Skelegod!
Yeah, Skelegod. He's like,
Yeah, and his like head is like flaming. His neck is like a flaming
Right.
Havoc fire.
Right. So, now, that brings us up to part 2.
Mhm.
So, overall, what did you think of part 2? Was it better than part 1?
Yeah, it's like it had like so much more action.
Yeah,
Especially-
and he says his catchphrase. Prince Adam, Prince of Eternia,
Yeah.
the final secrets of Castle Grayskull.
I mean, it was kind of sad a little bit,
and
too.
this is my fearless friend, Cringer.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it was sad
Also-
because Sorceress died.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Skeletor actually killed Sorceress.
And Orko joined the guy. I died.
Yeah.
He also in the first part.
Yeah, Orko died in the first part, but he comes back.
in the second part because
Way more, better, way cooler.
yeah, he actually knows how.
He actually knows how to-
master his
yeah.
powers.
And he
Yeah.
has a new move. This is like
Yeah,
take out the
he
scarf.
fights with his
Scarf.
scarf, yeah. So that was cool. And then you finally get to see a different type of He-Man, Savage He-Man.
Yeah, and he vowed that he will never use that again.
Yeah, because
Really?
he's like the Hulk
He bad.
times like more crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he's a caveman.
Yeah.
Because I even saw like a little bit of a beard.
Yeah,
And
he was
killed
crazy.
the monster. And he was like, "Gah."
Yeah, he was ripping monsters all over in place.
Bam!
Yeah, all over in pieces. The only thing I didn't like was Evil Lynn. She has a new costume. She basically becomes like an evil version of the sorceress, but you don't really see her do much in that costume.
Yeah, she doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, it's like sorceress was like an eagle, and Evil Lynn sorceress was like a bat lady.
Uh-huh.
And then the big twist was
she gets
the sword.
And she has too much muscles. And she has short hair.
Yeah, she does look like a buff person. She kind of looks like that scorpion girl from that She-Ra show, right?
Yeah, Scorpia, I think.
Yeah, Scorpia. She kind of had the same hairstyle and everything.
Except she wasn't a scorpion. Also, Scorpia used to be a princess.
Yeah. Well, you don't know if Evelyn was a princess one time too.
No, she
was gonna get eaten.
Yeah, by her parents. She told Beastman.
I don't know. Well, anyhow, so that's her look was kind of weird, you know.
Too much muscles.
It wasn't the too much muscles. I thought, didn't she have long hair? How did she end up with short hair?
I have no
I
idea.
thought when she gets naked. How does he get his clothes back?
Well, that's
Also-
magic. That's magic, I guess.
Also, Skeletor talks about the
Also,
celestial
another thing.
apex.
Yes, celestial apex. But then, also another thing is like, why the makeup comes on her face? It's like, when the power comes to you, they give you weird choices to your body.
Yeah, why can't you choose?
Yeah, it's
I
like,
want short hair.
yeah. And then also, another thing is Tila becomes a new sorceress.
And somehow she gets longer hair again.
Well, yeah. But her look
Lame.
Her look was good.
Super good.
Yeah. Her look was good. It's kind of like Wonder Woman 84's costume, but better.
1984.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't just gold like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it had wings like that.
The cape looks like kind of like wings.
Yeah.
But.
And she had this special stick that could turn into any weapon.
Right. So, well, you think it's lame, but I thought it was
into,
good.
Like a sword, or like a double-sided spear, or a lightsaber.
Yeah. So, toy companies, you better work on that. Girls gonna want that.
Please, I'm begging you.
Yeah.
She's begging you. Please do this for my sister.
I mean, they already got the Savage He-Man. Might as well.
That's He-Man.
No, they just released the Savage He-Man out.
What?
The toy.
Dude, you could make that, you could just have a He-Man. If you wanted to make Savage He-Man, just take off the top.
Yeah.
Why did you make that?
No, but he's like bigger and stronger.
And still, looks the same thing.
But again, the big twist at the end of this part is, all the bad guys are defeated, all the good guys win.
Skeletor turns into a machine.
Yeah, Skeletor is turned
By
into
some
a
person named
machine.
Motherboard.
Who
That's
happens to be working with
Hordak.
That's his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Hordak is
Shira's villain.
Shira's villain.
Main villain.
She's got a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Hordak is like.
I hope they bring Shira in. That would be disappointing if they don't bring her in.
Yeah, because the only way Hordak would come is if Shira did something to him to make him get to that place.
Or if Shira's like dead or something.
What?
I don't know. They don't even talk about her on the show, so.
Yeah, that isn't fair.
Yeah.
And they didn't He-Man. I mean, I guess they didn't talk about He-Man in that one.
Well, yeah. So,
Stop.
So I think I like part 2 better than part 1, but overall I think together they make a good story. A lot of action, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of sad moments, a lot of happy moments, and a lot of funny moments.
A lot of sad moments. A lot of killing.
Well, all the most of the people that died came back. Okay?
Sorceress.
But, there were a couple of things that didn't get, fully explained. Like, all the people in Preternia. Yeah, I don't know if they're still alive. I mean...
Yeah, also...
What happened to Clapchamp?
Yeah, Clamchamp and Fisto.
Yeah, and...
Preternia.
Yeah.
So Skeletor, he got the 2 souls and he made them go to Subternia instead of Preternia.
Yeah.
So when Evelyn made everyone from Subternia come, including Orko.
Yeah.
Shouldn't those 2 have come too?
Yes, that's I think that's a plot error there.
I think they were one of the monsters.
I don't know. They should bring back Fisto and Clamtramp.
Claptrap. That
Champ.
is a chap.
Whatever. Okay.
Don't say whatever.
Okay.
Don't say okay.
What do you want me to say?
What do you want me to say? That's what I want you to say.
I want to say thumbs up. What do you say?
Thumbs up.
And you-
Uppity up.
And you're putting your feet up too.
Yeah.
Are you saying thumbs up too?
Thumbs up is all the dots and all the toes.
Okay, so we all like it. So come back with a new season. Please don't let us wait like too long,
Yeah,
Okay.
and make that new Tila, please.
Yeah,
She looks super cool.
this girl wants the new Tila.
Spread the word, spread the word, spread the word.
I will try to spread the word.
Spread the word.
Yes.
Spread the word.
Okay, we will. So yes, that's our review. We'll have some experts coming in to visit and see what they say about the new show as well. So hang on.
By the power of Grayskull.
All right. We're doing a deep dive on Masters of the Universe Revelation, and I couldn't do this on my own, so I had to get another geeky dad with me, and his son Luke. Mr. Rob Foy is here with us, and he is the resident expert on the show, everything MOTU.
Try to be, at least. We'll try to see what we can come up with today.
Okay, Rob. I want you to go back in time. I want you to remember when you were a kid. What was the thing that caught you when you saw Master of the Universe for the first time?
I loved it. Honestly, I was thinking about this the other day. My first memories include He-Man. So as far back as I can remember, He-Man and the Master of the Universe has been part of our life. Some of the earliest memories I have is watching the cartoon and playing with toys in the first house I remember. And it stayed that way throughout my childhood. I remember spending a lot of time with my grandmother on it. She would buy us some toys. She would always rent us some of the videos after school. I have a twin brother. We watched it. We would fight to get home in time to see it. We'd pitch a fit if we couldn't see it. So it was huge. And He-Man was huge back in the 80s. And I'm thrilled that he's kind of making a comeback now.
Yeah. I mean, we're probably around the same age, so we probably both grew up with the same afternoons every time after school.
Absolutely. Got to
Yeah.
rush home to get He-Man on.
So, Luke, have you seen the old cartoons?
Yes.
And okay, how would you compare it to the new ones?
Really different. Like He-Man and Skeletor, really different.
How?
Like He-Man is way taller.
Way taller. Yeah. Is the animation a little better, you think? The way it's drawn? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes, I agree. I love Filmation, but boy, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, when we were kids, that show blew our minds. We didn't know.
right. Well, it was interesting. Someone said this to me not too long ago, which I agree with. He-Man had great. The designs were good.
Yes.
The animation was bad.
Right. But the storylines weren't as good either.
Oh no. I mean, that was very dependent on good
Toy of the
writing.
week. Yeah, the toy of the week.
Exactly. Paul Dini and Larry DiTillo, those they could write some good ones, but there were some stinkers in there.
Yeah, well, it was a different time back then.
Oh, absolutely. Churning out in syndication. It's just what it is, what it was.
Have you shown your son like the other shows, like the 2000 version?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he actually the one with we have the DVD set of where you see Keldor becoming Skeletor. Yeah, well, yeah, I think actually for a while he liked that more than the first one. Is that a true statement, Luke?
Yeah, my kids like that one too.
Well, that one was interesting because you look back at Filmation and just the violent standards at the time, what they would or would not allow. Right. That was the first time we really got to see them really fight.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And one video he loves, I like too. I don't know if you've seen this. There's a YouTube video going around of the two big fight scenes from that series. One where He-Man's fighting the Evil Warriors, and then another one where he's fighting Skeletor, the Evil Warriors, and the Council of Evil. But they play the original Filmation He-Man theme. Oh, so that was kind of best of both worlds.
Yeah. Have you showed him the Dolph Lundgren movie?
Yes, we watched that. We watched that for movie night in the last year. Remember that? Yeah, that was different. I have strong nostalgia for that, but I can recognize.
I wore out that VHS.
Oh, likewise. Taught my twin brother and I, like we would rent that thing like every week. I don't know why we didn't just buy it, but
yes, same thing.
Right. But I mean, that was the go-to. Like if our parents rented that, they knew they were good.
I even watched She-Ra when I was a kid. So,
It's funny. We had a babysitter who would tape She-Ra only to see if it was one of the ones that He-Man was in. If He-Man or someone from Master of the Universe was on it, she would keep it. And if they weren't, she would erase that one and just keep recording until we get another one in there. So that was actually some of the first VHSs we had was that.
So do you have any toys that you passed down to your son?
Yes. Did we bring any of those in here? Luke got a lot of the toys in here, but I think we just have Revelations and Origins right now. But yeah, we one thing that started was we found a handful of, my parents gave most of them away. We were able to find about 15 of them, which
they're worth like a lot of money now.
Oh, well, I'm glad they've started doing Origins and Revelations, because we've had trying to find for a couple years. We were just doing the eBay routes.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Some of those things,
yeah,
they're not cheap. Like like Snake Face and Scare Glow, they were just kind of off the table.
I know. I saw how much they sold like the original Atari Pac-Man for, and I'm like, I had that, and my mom threw that away. I'm like, wow.
Well, yeah, it's scary to see what, like, oh my goodness, we had this, we had that, and it's like, wow. Now I'm scared to give away any. You're probably the same way, but I'm scared to give away any toys now because
exactly.
I don't want to look back and say, oh, should have kept that.
Yeah. Well, what about the new CGI show? How does your son feel about that show?
What do you think about the other He-Man cartoon, the new He-Man cartoon? No, the other one, the one where all five of them have the power.
Good.
You like that one?
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of that one?
When he says, but I have no idea.
Oh yeah. He loves that. Have you seen it? He loves that part when I think it's early in the second episode where he and Tila get surrounded by those robots, and he holds up the sword and he's like, I have, and he goes, no idea.
Yeah. I actually like that show a lot.
It's funny. The design, I was a little weary of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's definitely different. I mean, there's no question there. But I mean,
I was surprised. Like the storyline was kind of sophisticated. I thought it was going to be, yeah.
Well, I think He-Man works best. One reason Filmation worked, even though, like we just said, some not so great stories,
Hmm.
this had a lot of hearts at the center of it. And
Hmm.
that's one thing I think that CGI did, and I think that's one thing Revelations has done.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping they can resolve the issues, and I want them to bring Shira and He-Man together.
Yeah, I am still surprised that they let those properties split.
Yeah, that's insane to me.
Right. I mean, it's like you can't have She-Ra without He-Man.
Yeah.
I was telling someone this the other day. You can kind of tell a story of He-Man without She-Ra, but you can't tell She-Ra's story without He-Man.
Exactly.
They're just linked. So hopefully, with the Horde showing up in part 2, that's going to bring She-Ra. But like you said, I know they've got rights issues.
Yeah, yeah. I'm hoping they could work something out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, you think they will go with the same title, Revelation, if they do a sequel?
I don't know, because I don't know if you heard, they said the original title was going to be End of the Universe.
Right.
But then they
Yes.
decided that gave away too much.
Right.
So, yeah, right. I mean, at this point, what's there left to reveal? Everyone knows Adam's secret and the secrets
Mhm.
of Tila's heritage. So,
Right.
I
Well,
almost feel like
I'm gonna go with a random title. I think it would be a good title. Masters of the Universe, like Revolution.
oh, that is good. I like that. I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
That would open up some doors. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I think now they've really got the Revelations name has now become synonymous with it.
Mhm.
So, to your idea, that would keep it along the same lines.
Right. Right. And there's been talk about how maybe since they're adding technology and stuff to the Horde and all that stuff, they might tie in the new adventures
Mm-hmm.
with this show a little bit.
It's funny you say that. I've seen several things suggesting they wondering if what happened to Skeletor at the end was kind of turning him into that version of that, and that would be interesting. I mean, I know that one in particular has a lot of mixed response to it.
Right. I mean, the animation was good though.
Oh, it was, and it's funny since we are about the same age and you might have had the same experience. When that kind of came out, just kind of took a look, and at the time was like, that's not my He-Man, and just kind of.
Yeah, it was kind of a drastic change.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of which I think Revelations does well with is it's goofy. It's all these characters mixed matched together, and they took away all that stuff.
Right.
It's that magic and technology struggle, which they did hit on in Revelations,
but also I think the design was a little flawed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought if he's in the future, he should have like futuristic armor, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Didn't make sense. He was like all like half naked still,
Yeah, I know. Well, have you seen the promo art where they did it in the Filmation style?
No, I didn't. No.
They actually, their original idea was to let Filmation do it, and aesthetically, it would have looked similar to Filmation. So you could actually have looked at it and said, "Well, that's just the same He-Man. He's just got a different outfit, whatnot." But then, I guess Filmation went bankrupt, so they had to go to, I don't remember who did New Adventures, but
it was probably some Japanese company. It looked like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it definitely had a lot of that aspects to it.
Yeah, yeah. Have you seen the new She-Ra show too?
Some. We have not watched all of it. Tried to with the kids. That was one that just did not take to them. And I honestly, kind of like what I was saying earlier, I like She-Ra fine, but gosh, the lack of no He-Man element involved in that just.
Yeah. And they still say Honor of Grayskull, but they never even,
Right. I was keeping up with it just, through reviews and things like that, just to see like, all right, are they ever going to actually explain this? And it sounds like they just kind of, it was its own thing. But like you said, all these rights are tied up into different things.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping they do that with the next iteration,
Yeah. I bet, if this really takes off, and I'm guessing Mattel's got high hopes since they've got two shows out at the same time,
Right.
and off the heels of that new She-Ra one, that they'll realize how powerful these properties can be together.
And I hear they're doing a live action She-Ra show on Amazon too.
Yeah, I heard that. I'd be curious to see how they would do that, because it seems like it would be tricky to do live action.
Yeah, well, hopefully it doesn't end up like
absolutely.
hopefully it doesn't end up like a live action like Xena.
Yes, that would be cool. I agree.
So what was your favorite moment in Revelation?
Oh gosh, there was I would say, and Luke probably agrees with this, in part one, we did not see that cliffhanger coming.
Right.
Where Skeletor comes in behind him and gets them. So from a shock factor, I give them total credit. That was about as great of a cliffhanger as you could do.
Right.
But probably two favorite moments would be one, when he gets the sword back finally in the beginning of episode 10.
Yes.
And just even the way he says it, he just says, by the power of Grayskull, so joyfully.
Right.
It's like, I think we were all feeling that at that point.
We were just waiting for that moment the whole part two. Yeah.
And then, a few minutes
they lingered on that. They lingered.
Yes, they did. I like, and then, the fact it was neat. Luke and I were just talking about this, how they brought in how not only did he change Cringer, but he changed Skeletor at the same time. I mean, there's just a shots that I keep telling Luke that I think is funny when
it kind of echoes to that new show too, like how he shared his power.
Yeah, exactly right. And it was interesting because like Skeletor and Cringer standing side by side are just something I just never thought you'd see.
Yeah.
But then about 5 minutes later, when he gets outside the castle and they give him his just that moment to go nuts on everything.
Oh man, that was epic, right?
Yeah. And even though they gave away the last part of it in the trailer, it still did not take away from its impact in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, just to even accomplish that in live action, that would probably it'll be like Avengers Endgame type of epicness,
Absolutely. I mean, you think about filming that scene, how much that would be your budget right there for that scene alone.
I mean, I wish one day we get a big budget movie like that, but
well, they keep talking about it. I mean, I think it's a movie. It's something that would do well. I mean, like I said, I think it was Rob David over at Mattel who said recently, one of the reasons now you're seeing more He-Man is they realize, like with Guardians of the Galaxy, well, this stuff actually works. People love this type of silly, goofy.
It all depends on the right director, the right writer, right actor,
Absolutely. Well, you look at like Back to Filmation, like the Paul Dini episodes. I mean, those were great.
Yeah.
He didn't even like He-Man, but like he wrote some of the best episodes.
Yeah, and if they ever do one soon, I would like to see Dolph Lundgren as King Randor.
I would love to see that. I kind of wondered if they were going to try to give him something in Revelations, kind of like they gave Alan Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
that role as Moss Man. And I know John Irwin doesn't like to. He's a pretty much a recluse and doesn't get out, won't do these things, and I can respect that. But it is sad because I know people would be overjoyed if he ever participated in something like that.
Well, I was thrilled when I saw the characters from the movie, like a Blade. Remember you saw Blade?
Oh yes, remember when Blade showed up in episode 9? Well, yeah, we were not expecting that. And then, well, the tongue-in-cheek joke when Man at Arms is they're saying like, "Oh, look, Goat Man and Pig Boy," like the bottom of the barrel here.
Yeah, I was hoping to see Gwildor.
Yes, it's interesting for as many characters they hit. There's a lot they didn't, so which could be good for part 2, or season 2, I should say.
Well, yeah. I hope it's not like too long because I don't think they even started work on that yet.
No, I mean it hasn't even officially been greenlit yet. Kevin Smith has said that if enough people watch part 2, then it's definitely getting a second season. In fact, it sounds like they almost greenlit it off of part one alone.
Right.
Because the views were like through the roof.
Mm-hmm. And but animation takes a while, so we're looking at least 2 years. I think.
Yeah. I think Kevin Smith said the reason they put it out now, they might have originally were going to do it early next year, but it's to see if they can go and get the response to possibly have something out by the end of next year.
Right.
So, because you're right, you don't want to go 3 years between seasons. People are going to move on.
But I mean, I'm sure they're going to have the CGI show to keep us salivating.
Well, it's funny. We were talking about that show. They just didn't promote much of that one, and I mean, we liked it, but it was kind of real quick, like 2 weeks. It was like, by the way, this is about to drop.
Yeah, and it had a big cliffhanger too. So I hope they.
Yeah, so I would have to hope they're making more.
Yeah,
and cause I think I have this right on She-Ra. I mean, they were pumping those out pretty quick.
Yeah. But they had very short seasons, I thought.
Yes,
so.
You're right. They did. So it'll be interesting to see. But hopefully we'll get a surprise part 2 or season 2 of that here before we know it.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the negative backlash to the first part?
Honestly, it really disappoints me because I do think it had flaws.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could say, it took the story we grew up with and evolved it. And I've listened to a lot of Kevin Smith kind of talking about their idea, the mindset behind it. But I mean, I think a lot of things being said about it is just false. I think a lot of things, people leaving negative reviews, it's turned into this, not movement, but people are just kind of hopping on this bandwagon of hating on it.
It felt more like people just saw the first episode and didn't even give it a chance.
Exactly. Yes. And I mean, I've seen a few reviews, not as many for part 2, but like, it's clear they haven't seen it based on comments, and I mean, I was a bit upset when I found out he, died, but Right. Well, it's funny. Like my brother said this, another friend who's seen it said the same thing. I mean, I think if they had released all 10 at once, people would have been a lot happier. But you wait all these years to get He-Man back, and he's gone after the first episode.
But the way they dragged out his resurrection and rebirth and all that stuff, it gave it a more mythical quality, I thought.
I agree. I argue that, his presence he's the driving factor of that whole show, even when he's not there. And I saw an interview sometime in the past few months with Kevin Smith. I don't remember if it was Kevin Smith or someone else, but the original storyline was he was just going to lose the power, but he wasn't going to die. Right. And then the marching orders were, no, we want to focus on these other characters for a bit, take them out of the picture for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, everybody kept harping, it's the Tila show, but I thought they really did a lot of backstory on Man-at-Arms and Orko and even Roboto,
Right. I mean, all these people that I want to say not care about, but like no one really knew much. Roboto was a very two-dimensional character, and now he's all of a sudden three-dimensional,
I almost teared up when he died.
I did, likewise. And then Orko, and I know they said
Orko. That devastated me.
It was very devastating. Yeah. That was probably Luke's favorite part in part 2 when Orko goes outside, that line you hear in the trailer, you guys are going to get it now.
Yeah. That was the best part.
Well, it's interesting because Orko, talking about writers again, in the Filmation series, you either love them or hate them, and usually depending on the writer, but they did such a good job of keeping that goofiness of them while
yeah, and they made him very sympathetic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, everyone was rooting for him, and it was great to see him come back. Luke and I didn't think he was actually dead, although it sounds like he was, but brought back to life. But because we're like, you can't kill off Orko.
Well, the only characters that got the short end, I would have to say, is Fisto.
Yeah. That was dark,
Yes.
my brother and I talk about that. It's like, not only do you kill them, zombie them, kill them, then Skeletor takes their souls and is like, I'm not even gonna let you go to heaven.
Yeah, but you see, there was a little plot hole there, because when everybody came back from Subternia, they weren't there.
That's yes. So does it mean they're walking around somewhere out there? I mean, certainly they could.
I mean,
use that as
everybody
an
got sucked back in except
True.
for Orko.
True.
So they're probably still down there.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. You know, I mean, the good thing is, especially something like Master of the Universe, nothing is too, I don't mean this flippantly, but nothing's too silly that you can't bring it back, you know?
Right.
It's goofy enough that anything's plausible.
Also, they kind of left the fate of the Preternia.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Couldn't figure out what exactly did they bring it back when they were shooting in the sky. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I hope so, because it's pretty.
You know what I was hoping was gonna happen, because when they had the big army, I thought like last minute all of the characters from Preternia was gonna come back, like Adam, to join the fight.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I would have loved to see that. Yeah, it was funny. I thought we were going to see him at some point, and we did. But like, I thought they would have like an episode like they did in the first half,
right?
And then you just, I don't think none of them had a speaking role. It's just that cameo is saying, well,
right,
they're gone. Poor Moss Man died twice.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they can figure out a way to bring him back.
Oh yeah.
The plant. You left a seed somewhere. It's growing right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. If they find a use for these characters, they can get them back.
Yeah. But you know, I'm hoping with the success of He-Man coming back, maybe we can do more spin-offs, Maybe sure. At one time they were thinking about doing a show about He-Man's son.
Yeah, Dare.
In the 90s, right? Or 2000s or something like that.
Yeah, it was interesting because Lou Scheimer was spearheading this. They had all the scripts written out, all this stuff, and it was definitely going to be similar to Revelations although Revelations keeping the story we all knew. It was going to be the people you knew just 20 years later. He-Man, Skeletor have their final battle.
I can almost see that happening. Like you do like a trilogy. You do Revelation, maybe Revolution, and then Rebirth.
I like that. That's a good name for it. Yeah.
All ours.
Well, one thing I loved about the scripts for those was, they did pass it on to the son, but Adam could still call on the power too at times. So it's like he didn't go away.
Right.
He just, letting other people shine some too.
Yeah. And maybe even do like a prequel. I would love to see like other versions in the past,
Yeah, well, I mean, Evil and Skeletor working for the Horde, that is something that's always talked about, but you never really see much of it. So,
there was also Hero, and King Grayskull. I would love to see a series on that.
Oh, absolutely. I believe I have my facts straight on this too. One thing they were talking about after She-Ra was a filmation show of Hero and the Snake Men being the bad guys in the past, and that would have been
amazing.
Great to see.
Yeah, just to see the origins of that whole world,
Right. Well, it's a shame that the Snake Men. Fortunately for Mike Young, we did get that one season with them, but we haven't had a ton of them in animation either.
No, I'm hoping they revisit the Snake Men in this new Kevin Smith universe.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we get the Horde this year or season 2, and then Snake Men for part 3.
Yeah.
But as long as they keep Skeletor around.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's too good to let go.
Yeah, I mean he's iconic. You can't have Skeletor without He-Man,
Absolutely. And this is just, I have no insight on this whatsoever. I just have to assume season 2 is going to be the He-Man and his friends versus the Horde until Skeletor will do something at the very end to wind up back on top. Then they have to take him out.
Yeah, he's gonna backstab somebody.
Exactly. That's just what he is. It's like he did in episode 10. He's working with Adam and Cringer until the evil end leaves. The heck with it, Yeah.
But it seems like the Revelation universe doesn't mention Keldor.
No, I think it was episode 7 where he talks about just being a demon from the other dimension,
Yeah.
and it's interesting because I I don't know, because I know like early on in filmation they refer to him as the demon from the other dimension. So I know it's just a spiritual sequel, but I know they keep in true with that. But Keldor does bring an interesting element to it.
Yeah, I kind of like that backstory a little better,
Well, and it was interesting. Like as much as I love Mike Young's show for introducing it, I felt like they went away from it too quick. One thing we both enjoyed about the CGI show is
Right.
he's Keldor through half that season,
Right.
before he
Right.
makes that switch.
Yeah. And it kind of gives a more connection to Adam too.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it just makes it builds up the stakes much more interesting. Have you seen the comics, He-Man and the Masters of the Multiverse?
I've seen the covers.
So
haven't read the
that
book.
one's interesting because they're going through different iterations of He-Man, and everyone and most of them Skeletor is Keldor.
It's like
and that relationship through different
it's like
versions of it.
Spider-Verse before Spider-Verse, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they stole the idea from He-Man.
Well, let's have them adapt that. That would be cool.
Hey, I would be down. And now it's funny. Now they've got the CGI and the Revelations since that came out. So now it's funny with the limited amount of He-Man we've had over the years. They were still able to do 6 different versions then, and now you add 2 more to that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like it's never gonna end now.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Keep it coming.
Yeah, and it's the type of universe you can keep going forever because it's unlimited storylines. I think.
I'm kind of surprised, to be honest with you, that they took this long to kind of bring it back out. Try to give it another go, because I mean, it's a very beloved property.
There was a bit of a anti machismo-ness that was in Hollywood at a point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, like we've kind of said already a few times. I mean, I think you just have to take He-Man for away as goofy. Not goofy, but just you just have to have fun with the whole concept.
Yeah. That was like the prime 80s thing. You had all the guys with the muscles, sweat, just kicking butt everywhere, and towards the 90s, the action heroes started to cover up more,
right. Yeah, a little more sleek, a little more story.
Suits now,
You're right. Yeah. Have you seen I think it's The Power of Grayskull, the documentary?
Oh yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I like how they're just saying, like, they're taking that clay model of the first He-Man, like, no, put more on it, make him bigger. And then they slapped on He-Man as a placeholder, like, we'll figure out his name later. And it's like, it's brilliant. Go with it.
Yeah. I think originally he was supposed to be Conan or something like that.
Yeah. They couldn't get licensing rights to it, so they just made him blonde and said, "You're He-Man now."
Yeah, well, right now Conan is also in need of a resurgence as well.
Yeah, I was disappointed that I think it was 14 they did that one.
Yeah.
I kind of hoped it would take off, but
no, didn't work. I'm hearing that they might do a live action show soon, but
that would be great.
Yeah.
Kind of like He-Man, you need the right writer, you need the right creative team and the right people to present.
It's hard to get an actor with the charisma and the look to be He-Man. I mean, I think the closest, in my opinion, Chris Hemsworth.
That would be a great choice. Thor from the Marvel movies? That's who we're saying should play He-Man. What do you think of that? You like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that would be an excellent choice.
The same way they did Shazam, just have 2 different actors. Adam. Yeah.
Well, I was disappointed that Noah, I can't pronounce his last name, but the one who was attached to the project for a couple of years.
Right.
It's like with He-Man, especially, you're only going to have you're going to have a window if you want to make multiple movies where you're going to stay as ripped and buffed. So it's like,
right.
You got to have a plan and you got to roll with it.
That was the thing I liked about the Mike Young version, because they showed Adam as a scrawny character, It was a little bit more realistic in some ways,
I agree, and I appreciate that Revelations did well, and the CGI one does too. I mean, I'm glad they're starting to incorporate certain elements. I think Master Universe, which makes them so good, is they're not afraid to see what works and grow with it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know about you, but I actually really enjoyed the kind of twist that Man at Arms was the actual father, not just an adoptive father, and had a relationship with the sorceress.
Yes, yeah.
I thought actually that works better than the original story.
Yeah.
So
Gives it
I hope they
more
can
emotion too. It gave it a lot more emotion.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I mean, when she died,
Heart-wrenching.
yeah, well, you know, I mean, we knew, we were talking about this. We knew that Sauce was going to die. She just, if Teela's going to take over, you know, she's going to have to go. But that connection with Man at Arms, it just made it, that moment, even just so much more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, didn't they allude to that in the Mike Young show too? Like,
yes. So that was weird because at least for the episodes we got, they alluded that Fisto was the father, but in that version, Fisto was Man at Arms' brother.
Right.
But I've read some interviews that say they really were going to turn it into Man at Arms. They just never got around to it. Like they just planted enough seeds for you to doubt it.
But you know, I mean, these days they're bringing back old shows like, for instance, X-Men from 1997 is coming back.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be great.
You know, and it's in the same continuity. They did the same thing with Young Justice. It was canceled for like 3 or 4 years, came back again. I'd hope if they do like a continuation of the Batman animated series.
I would love to see that. Have you seen the stuff for the Cape Crusader?
I've only seen a still. I haven't seen.
Yeah, that's all I've seen too. But it makes me wonder with Bruce Timm. I saw he said something recently about this show is going to let them do what they wanted to do with the original Batman the animated series, but Fox wouldn't let them.
Yeah, so, you know what? Talking to you is really great because you're a geek to my own heart. You know that?
No, I thought this is great. This is fun. You know.
Have you ever gone to any of the Power Cons?
We're not a Power Con, but Luke and I, and here we're in South Carolina. Probably 3 years ago, they had a Comic-Con version here, and we got to go meet Alan Oppenheimer there.
Oh, wow.
So that was fun. Yeah, he started talking to Lucas Cringer. It was great.
I want to go to these. I want to go to PowerCon. It looks really crazy, you know. I mean,
I would love to. It's interesting. The last 2 years with COVID, I know they've had kind of redone.
Right.
But I mean, I know Luke would love it. We would. Hopefully, in the next year or two, maybe we might try to catch the next one because, you know, especially with Filmation, like, I mean, I hate to say it, but Alan Oppenheimer, like, he's not gonna be around much longer.
Yeah. He's like Optimus Prime, the guy Frank Welker.
Peter Cullen.
Oh, Peter Cullen.
Yeah, but Welker is Megatron.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, they're iconic, you know, voices.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it surprises me that they don't let Peter Cullen do Prime until the day he dies.
Right.
You know, I feel like they've gotten that message to an extent, but yet you still sometimes hear like, oh, well, he's not, it's kind of like Kevin Conroy with Batman.
Right.
You know? Just let him do it. No one will complain if he does it till the day he dies.
Speaking of Batman, I think the actor that does the voice for Batman on Brave and the Bold was King Randor.
Yes, and Trapjaw.
Yeah.
Diedrich Bader.
Because when my son was watching it, he kept on saying, "That's Batman. That's Batman."
Well, it was funny because, like, you know, we kind of after the first part, we're like, well, is King Randor and Queen Marlena going to be a part of this thing?
Yeah.
Because we didn't see him after part one, and then, you know, they had a great in part two,
and they don't even mention their daughter. So I'm wondering.
I wonder if that might be a legal issue that they had to dance around.
Yeah,
but no, he did great as King Randor. I really liked him in that role.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the Marlena is in the CGI show though.
Yeah, it's interesting. We noticed that there's a painting in the palace.
Right, I did see that
there, but she's clearly not there. Current in the current, she's not in the palace as it stands now. So that'd be neat to see if that's an area they kind of tap into later because one thing I will say, one beef I really had with Mike Young's show was taking away the fact that she was from Earth.
Right.
Because I think as kids, the fact that you could say, well, He-Man was actually half Earthling,
Right.
that's a huge draw, And so, I mean, I think Marlena would be a great.
Have you ever read Masters of the Universe meets Justice League?
Yes. Yep. Where
Yeah,
she's
that was-
trapped on Earth.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It was. No, that was great. I mean, I wish DC would make more comics. Actually, honestly, I mean,
Yeah.
the Eternity War was great, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's like I feel like they don't know how to draw these characters out for long.
Right,
Or,
right. And you know what we've never had was like a really big budget, good video game.
Yes. Well,
role-playing game or something.
What was it? I got so disappointed in college. They had one for the Mike Young one they were about to release.
Right.
They pulled it at the last minute.
Mhm.
But it was him going around Grayskull. He could ride on Battle Cats.
Right. That would have been like a Zelda game or something.
Yes. We love Zelda too. I mean,
Yeah.
you like a Breath of the Wild or Ocarina of Time.
That would be amazing.
That would be golden.
Yeah.
Well, there's another one. Luke, you remember this one, the computer one? There's one in Filmation style. It's just a scroll and beat 'em up.
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
I think it's just one you download, but
Mm-hmm.
you play as He-Man, Skeletor, Man-at-Arms, Tila. So
was that the one that the extra character was Lino?
Yes. Yep. That was it.
Yeah.
Which have you seen that crossover? Master Universe.
Yes.
That was pretty good too.
Yeah.
That was also one of those. They embraced the.
Speaking of
I don't mean
Thundercats,
every time I say goofy, I don't mean that in a negative way. Just the fun aspects of it.
speaking of Thundercats, that needs to be rebooted, so in a good way. Okay.
Well, yeah, I would hate for Revelations to follow on that the way that 2011 one went for Thundercats.
I really like that one though.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what else did you want from a show? It's like, why
And then,
did that? I don't know why that failed.
Then we had Thundercats Roar.
Yes. Kudos to them for trying something different, but
it didn't work out.
No,
I think that failed worse than the reboot.
I think you're right. Yeah, I mean that thing I think was doomed the second they released the first still on it.
I don't know what they were thinking with that.
No, well, it blows.
Can you imagine if they do that with MOTU?
Oh, people would revolt. Well, look how people revolted to Revelations. I mean,
well, yeah.
But I do think again, I think that's a vocal minority that are just kind of rolling, having. I hate to say fun, but they're just kind of it's turned into a game.
Right. This is why I avoided doing a review of the first part, because I knew, you can't judge something in the middle of a book, basically. You gotta see the whole picture.
I listened to a couple of Kevin Smith's interviews right after part one, and he was very adamant. He's like, look, this isn't a spoiler to say He-Man's coming back.
Exactly.
He-Man's could be all over part two. And he was right. It's like, you're right. But you
He's
said
not an idiot. He's not gonna kill off the main character,
Right.
It's not Star Wars,
Right. Like for every He-Man.
That's a whole other conversation right there.
Well, you're right, but every He-Man, Star Wars, any of that stuff, you got a bunch of executives who have to sign off on that.
Mm-hmm.
And no one in Mattel is going to say, kill off our main character, everyone's favorite character.
Yeah.
I mean, give it space, which they did.
Tell that to Luke Skywalker fans, all right?
That one did not sit well with me.
No, it still hurts.
It does, especially when.
And Han Solo too.
It was funny. Both of them were gut punches, but Han, at least, the way I look at Han was Harrison Ford. Well, you got him back for one, so
right.
At least we can appreciate that. But Mark Hamill, he'd been down to play Luke as long as you want him to.
Yeah.
And just to kind of only give us one movie where he really wasn't who we were expecting is.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
they really whiffed on that one.
You did see Mandalorian, right?
Yes, loved it. No, that was great. See,
that was the Luke I wanted to see.
I agree. And I hope that they see how that basically broke the internet when that happened. I hope that's a wake up call to them and says, oh, maybe we should go back to focusing on this.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't even care if the CGI was a little iffy. Like I'd watch that series all day long.
Right. I mean, I'm at the point where, you know, I don't mind if you recast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I hate to say it like this, but I mean, at this point, Mark Hamill cannot do what Luke in his prime can do.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, he is arguably the first or second, depending on your point of view, most important character in the series.
Yeah.
You know, and they just have not utilized them since the original trilogy.
Right.
Or not very well.
It's a shame too, because you know, it's a lot of story potential there.
Oh, absolutely. But maybe the Mandalorians can give them the message.
Mm-hmm. So overall, what's your review of Revelation? Thumbs up, right? Definitely.
No, 2 thumbs up. When you say that, Luke, 2 thumbs up in Revelations? Yes. No, we loved it. That as a He-Man fan, that's everything I could have hoped for. And I mean, obviously, nothing is 100% perfect, but my goodness, it was great. I can't say it enough. I loved it, and I really hope the views are going to be there to give us more.
Well, I hope if they do the second season of the CGI show, let's have you back on.
Please, I would love that. That's like this has been a true joy. Like you said earlier, you know, this is a fun conversation. You understand a lot of things I do, so that's fun.
Well, you know, we think alike. We're fellow geeks.
Right. I like it.
Know? We're geeky dads together.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So you plan on what exact besides MOTU, what are you geeking out over right now?
Well, I mean, Spider-Man, coming out next month. It's gonna be good.
You should check out my we did a trailer reaction to that. You should listen to that one.
I'll check that out. The Book of Boba Fett next
month.
Oh
yes.
And then obviously you mentioned this earlier. I'm really stoked about the new X-Men coming out.
Yeah.
And then which I guess, well, did they give a release date for that? I don't recall.
I'm sure it's in next year, but I did see a still from it. It looks exactly like the same character designs, but better. Better. It's like MOTU, like they look the same but better animation.
Well, you know, that's one thing I appreciate about Revelations is, like, you know, they did not want to like say we're not redesigning anyone. You're not going to say who is that. That's He-Man. That's Fisto. That's
you can't invent the wheel more than what it is. You know.
Right. The one thing that makes me sad about X-Men is I believe I have this correct, that Cyclops and Magneto have passed on the voice actors.
Oh yes, yeah.
But it sounds like they got pretty much everyone else back.
They've probably passed on in the comics a couple of times too.
Yes, probably so, and come back and pass on again. Yeah, they're like He-Man.
Right.
Yeah. No one's truly dead.
Nobody dies in the superhero universes.
Exactly right. Exactly.
And franchises as well.
That's right. Franchises, they're what keeps this going. And love it.
And it's good that we can pass this on to our kids. You know.
Exactly. Well, I tell you this, that's probably my biggest joy in all this is now that I get to share all this with him. And, you know, he loves these toys. In fact, today for his show and tell, he showed a picture of all his He-Man toys, and everyone was asking him questions about it, weren't they? Yeah, it was exciting.
I actually did bring, when I was a kid, I brought my He-Man toys to show and tell.
Same here. Yeah. You know, we had that carrying case they used to have, where you could put, I think, 12 figures in. Did
you have Castle Grayskull?
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
we had every single one.
I didn't get the Grayskull.
Oh, that was great. Grayskull, Snake Mountain, the Fright Zone.
I had the battle damage one I had.
Yeah. Battle damage. Luke got out some of the toys. We actually have Battle Armor He-Man here.
Oh man, that's the one I had.
Yeah, this was one of my favorites as a kid. Yeah, they did The origins are really good because it keeps the original design. The packaging looks the same, but it's you know, they move better.
Right.
Like the challenge talking about, you know, using the toys we had. I mean, I don't know if you've seen any lately, but like they snap like twigs.
Right.
The rubber is worn out, and I mean, it's what happens with 40-year-old toys. They just they can't last forever.
You know, that's why you're not supposed to open it from the pack.
Oh yeah. Well, we actually have two. They're not originals, but they were the commemorative back from maybe 20 years ago. We actually have a Battle Armor He-Man and Skeletor that he's wanted to open a few times. My daughter, when she was 2, I think she was 2, we had Battle Armor He-Man, Battle Armor Skeletor, and Buzz Off. And she locked herself in the bathroom and opened Buzz Off, so that money just went down the toilet. So now, but that Buzz Off is now part of our toys because it's like he's out of the box.
It was a pleasure to talk with you guys.
Yes,
and,
well, absolutely.
Luke looks
I
like
think,
he's about to fall asleep.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll get him to bed. But he's been looking so forward to this, and you know, thank you for this opportunity to talk about He-Man. It's a huge joy for both of us. So it's really fun to be able to talk about it with you.
Yeah.
And like you said, if anytime you want to chat, we would love to chat with you.
Well, we'll love to have you back on.
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
we can do like a round table with a couple of other.
Yeah. You just let me know. I'd love to.
All right.
Well, listen. Thank you so much for this opportunity. We really enjoyed it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Take care.
I want to thank Rob Foy and his son for joining us today. It was fun talking. Come back next week. We're going to have another dad and another subject to talk about. We're going to deep dive on something else. And if you like the show, please subscribe, like, leave a comment, leave a review. We're on Apple, Spotify, anywhere that plays podcasts. Find us. We are also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So please come back. And again, you know, have fun with your kids, engage with your kids, and you know, enjoy your geekiness. Bye. Just because the show ends doesn't mean the fun has to end. We're now on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We want to hear from you. Tell us what you like about the show. Tell us what you don't like about the show. Help us. We want to work together with you. So, check us out.